Hey guys, I'm Jasmine, and today I'm starting a new series where I'm starting to watch Friends. Now, I grew up watching Friends with my mom and my aunt. I want to say Friends used to come on Thursdays on NBC, and we used to watch it every single week faithfully. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about the entire show, and y'all can join me on this journey. I'm going to do a recap as well as a reaction. Just keep in mind, my reactions are very different from other people's, just for copyright purposes and kind of, for entertainment purposes. So, I hope you guys enjoy this series. Also keep in mind that I am currently watching Sex and the City. I'm about to start watching Girlfriends, and I am watching Living Single, although I'm still kind of undecided if I'm going to continue that series. But without further ado, let's jump into Friends Season 1, Episode 1. Feel free to chime in your thoughts about this episode and what you would do in these situations that are happening with the characters. So firstly, I wanted to say that within watching this show, it's so crazy how you have this group of friends and they're at this place called Central Park. I know when I was younger, I really thought that I was going to have some sort of a safe space place that I could come to and be a regular at. Shows in the 90s and early 2000s really had that aspect about them where you thought that your life was going to be similar to them in reality to some sort of degree. I really thought I was going to have some place that I could go to and become a regular at, but then again, at the same time, I'm an introvert and it's like,
girl, you don't leave the house.
Anyways, let's get back to the show. So I have my notes. So in the opener, we see this character named Ross discussing how Carol, his wife, left him and was moving out of his apartment. We find out that she was a lesbian. I know that's gotta be rough for both of them. It's rough on the fact that, he's losing his wife. He's going through a divorce. This person he thought he was gonna spend his life with. Then you have Carol, who's coming to terms with the fact that she's a lesbian, she's embracing herself, finding herself, figuring things out. That has got to be a hard space to be for both of them. Rachel shows up in a wedding dress, which is absolutely insane to just see some woman walking up off the street in a complete wedding dress. Like, obviously, girl, you left your mans at the altar. Rachel sees Monica and ends up explaining how she ended up having cold feet and leaving her man at the altar. Now, I actually did a video about the truth about leaving or getting left at the altar. You guys should definitely check that video out because I go on a whole rant. But yeah, I feel like it is very inconsiderate for someone to leave someone at the altar, specifically after all that planning. Like, girl, you had the time. You could have bowed out sooner than that, I also find it interesting that Rachel expressed, I believe, that she came there to find Monica, but yet she did not invite Monica, who was her old high school best friend, to her wedding. So you came to find her, to find some solace and some TLC, a friend she could feel safe with, but yet you did not invite this friend to your wedding. Side-eyeing her deeply. Y'all can check out the other video that I made where I discuss reasons why a friend would not invite you to their wedding. But Rachel chats on the phone with her dad about how she doesn't want to marry her ex-fiance. She proceeds to share she is going to move in with Monica, which again is crazy because I'm assuming Monica hasn't spoken to her in a long time, like years, and she just proceeds to move her way in or claim she's going to move in, and it's like, you didn't even ask her if it was okay. It's truly given self-absorbed and selfish and inconsiderate on Rachel's part. It's so wild rewatching the series because when you watch the show, you're not really thinking about the characters as much, but now that I'm reacting to it, I'm kind of seeing you just voluntarily go and bogart your way into somebody else's home that you really don't have as much of an attachment as you used to with them, and you didn't even invite them to your wedding. Girl, you seem like a user, Rachel. And another thing is, because she left her fiance, I couldn't imagine being in a spot where I thought that I was going to be spending my life with someone and then realize that they're not on the same page as me and they don't want to do the same. Especially the day of. Dreams squashed. So Ross and the guys are putting together furniture, which as an adult, I never realized how much putting furniture together is. It's annoying and it's irritating. However, I feel like if you got other people helping you, it's not as bad. On the other side of town, we have Monica, who is on a date, and the guy ends up sharing how he can't perform intimately and he hasn't been able to in 2 years since his girlfriend left him. I don't know if she feels bad for him or if she thinks he's like a safe person to be with, but she ends up sleeping with the guy. So later, as she's talking with her friends and sharing his backstory about him not being intimate for 2 years because his girl left him, she ends up finding out that the guy lied and used a line on her to get her to sleep with him, which is absolutely insane work. And it makes me wonder if people still use lines like that, because I know when it came to sitcoms, a lot of times people would talk about people using lines to get people in the bed and stuff like that. And personally, I haven't really heard people use lines like that where they would full out lie about stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, people would definitely lie. But stuff like that is crazy to explain.
Oh, I haven't been intimate in years.
To get sympathy, to gain access to the box. That's different. Real different. Let me know if y'all have ever heard of people lying about stuff like that to be intimate, because that's crazy to me. Rachel calls Barry and apologizes for leaving him at the altar via phone, which, why couldn't you have met this man in person? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Again, Rachel be giving inconsiderate. She has no consideration for other people. And it's already the first episode, but as you know, she does grow over the course of the show. Also, we have to act like we don't know that Barry, her fiance, is doing stuff he isn't supposed to be doing. We gonna get to that in future episodes. Ross ends up contemplating if there is actually one person per person and if you only have a soulmate. Joey explains how people definitely have options. You can talk to other people, be intimate with other people. Now, I feel like I did a video before about how I shared how I don't believe in soulmates. But yeah, I don't really believe in soulmates. I believe that there are amount of different people you could be with. It's just whether within meeting these different people, if you're going to take the time to make things work or not. That's really all it is. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys believe that soulmates are a thing, if you believe each person has one person that they're supposed to be with ultimately in the end. Because I ain't gonna hold you. To me, I'm looking at the people who died early or the people that's in jail. Like, what if they soulmate is out here in the public and they locked up? So you telling me they never gonna connect their souls? So, because they went to jail, they soulmate gonna be alone, unhappy. That, I can't. Something about that just don't sit right with me. But I will say, I can understand how Ross feels, and it does suck how when a relationship ends, you end up contemplating, like, will I ever meet somebody again?
Is there someone else out there for me?
It's just a hard spot to be in. Also, back to Rachel and Monica, with Rachel, I guess, moving in and staying with Monica. Monica different from me. I could not imagine someone popping up from like high school, senior year, that I was cool with and then like haven't been in contact with for like 5-6 years. They pop back up and just show up on my doorstep like,
let me stay with you?
Absolutely not. Girl, you could be a completely different person. You could be a whole psycho serial. No. Different time. I'm built different. Because I would be like, girl.
So you calling me to use me for a place to stay?
Why don't you go back home to your daddy? And I know her dad wants her to be with her fiance. But still, you didn't have any other friends you could stay with? One of the friends that was at the wedding? Girl. So Rachel ends up realizing that they all have jobs, which to me, I'm like, well, what have you been doing? So she goes to get a job, only to be turned down for the next 12 interviews that she goes on. And man, one thing, going on interviews is so draining. Trying to find a job is draining, and then finding a job that you potentially don't like, you feel like isn't what you meant to do in life. Just the whole aspect of getting a job is just a very overwhelming, unfortunate experience, truly. But Rachel ends up buying new shoes out of depression, which, relatable. I don't even have nothing to say about that. It's something about a certain gratification you get when you feeling down and you end up buying yourself something new. It is very unhealthy, very dangerous. But for me particularly, one thing that I like to do when I feel down, I want some fast food or some sushi. That's just me. Or I need to take a nap. Sometimes I just need to take a nap. Or I need to watch something funny and to just laugh and get my mind off of things for a minute. But what do y'all do when y'all feel down in the dumps? What's something that makes you feel better? Do you buy something new for yourself? Do you treat yourself to some food? Do you take a nap? Do you go out hang out with friends? Like, what do you do? Let me know in the comments down below. So for whatever reason, Phoebe goes on a little whole life story, backstory spill, and shares a whole bunch of information about her life. All this trauma within her life within 25 seconds. And you kind of just looking at her like, you seem very stable.
For everything that you went through in life, you seem like you are a very together person.
Need be. She is a little kooky. But just based off of everything that we know about Phoebe, I don't see how she kept it together. Did she ever go to therapy? It's so much. They could have did so much with Phoebe's character alone. It was just a lot to take in about Phoebe, where she's lived so many lives, went through so many different transitions. Probably one of my favorite characters of the show. It was very appalling, where you kind of just staring at her like, are you okay? So the people with jobs, which was Chandler, Ross, and Monica. Did Joey? I can't remember if Joey. But they peer pressured Rachel into cutting up her credit cards. If she really wanted to, she could have contacted the credit card places and asked them to have her credit cards replaced. And my thing was within her cutting up her credit cards, how was she supposed to pay anything while she was living with Monica? I think that's the thing that didn't make sense to me. You basically pressuring her into cutting up credit cards. She just moved in with you. You know that she's had trouble with interviews because she does not really have no work experience. And you just about to let her stay there with you for free. Keep in mind, this is somebody you haven't really been speaking to for real. You smoking? Girl. Different people, you know what I'm saying? Because that could not be me. I would have been like, girl, you gonna use these credit cards to help fund your lifestyle within you living with me, because I'm not paying for your food and your stay. Get you a job, and then once you get that job, don't use them credit cards no more. Pay them off, or do what you gonna do, you know? So then we go to this scene with Ross and Rachel sitting in like the living room common area. Ross and Rachel end up splitting a cookie in half, right? Rachel took the side with the cream on it. And I know, y'all probably like, why are you really looking into this so much? You're doing too much. Listen, when it comes to people splitting Oreos, why do they always split it like this and take the cookies apart? Why don't you just split the cookie and break it in half? I will never understand that. You could just split this way. Just break it this way. Not take the whole cookie off. You see what I mean? I don't know. Stuff like that really just, I did do a couple recent reviews on some Oreo snacks. So if y'all want to check those out, y'all can. They have Oreo ice cream cones now, and they are so freaking good. Trust me on this. Watch that video, because y'all know what y'all missing. So after they split this Oreo, whatever, Ross ends up sharing with Rachel that he ended up having a crush on her when they were younger. So when she was like in high school, and I think he was like a senior in college, stuff like that. And Rachel expresses that she had known. He asked her, would it be okay in the future if he were to ask her out? And she said that would be okay. Which I'm like, okay. Ross was being a little forward, you know what I'm saying? Which is an absolute shame, because he did not ever act on it. Well, he acted on it much later, but in my opinion, he pretty much friend zoned himself. But we'll talk about that at a later date. This whole situation ignites the beginning of Ross and Rachel. Will they? Won't they? Should they? Or shouldn't they? I have my thoughts. As the episodes go on, we will go into it. So another thing that also got me about this scenario was Rachel didn't even eat the piece of cookie that Ross had shared with her. She just touched all over it and put it back on the table. And I know, y'all probably like, girl, why are you overanalyzing? Listen, simple things be given. You could have just let me have a whole freaking cookie. And maybe it's because I have such a love for food that I feel this way and why I paid it so much attention. But I'm just saying, she could have just let him have a whole cookie, you know what I'm saying? Especially if she was just gonna fill all over it and not even eat it. Selfish. Anyways, Rachel ends up getting a job as a waitress at the cafe that they frequent. That ends up being her first job. So let me know y'all thoughts. How would y'all feel if a friend you had not talked to in forever showed up like,
yeah, even though I didn't invite you to the wedding,
can I live with you, please? It's giving donkey off straight. Can I stay with you, please? Let me know how you would feel if you found out the love of your life, the person that you thought you was going to spend your life with, ended up being a lesbian or gay. Because to me, that would be a hard space to be in. And you would obviously have to respect their wishes. You would have to respect the transition that they go into, be understanding, and just accept it. Because it's like, why would you want to put the person you care about through trying to be with you when they don't even want to be with you like that for real, for real? If you not their cup of tea, why you trying to do that, you know? Also, let me know how y'all would feel about changing the trajectory of your life, thinking, oh, I'm gonna marry this person, and then realizing, you know what? I feel like I need to be my own person, and how scary it would be. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. Make sure you guys check out my other reactions to Sex and the City, Living Single, Friends. I will leave them linked in the description box down below. I will also leave a whole playlist to my dating life, chit chat videos where you guys can check those videos out because I go on rants about different dating, relationship topics as well as life topics. So check those out. But I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll be seeing you again soon. So stay blessed, stay positive. Bye.